This is Valley View News, and here are today's headlines. At least 40 are dead and scores are missing in the California wildfires. Firefighters tried to prevent a fire in Highland Park. The majority of Puerto Rico is still without power, and some still don't have clean drinking water.
Hello, and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Amber Partita.
And I'm Shelby Charlene.
Firefighters are making progress containing the wildfires in Northern California. However, Governor Jerry Brown says we aren't out of the woods yet. The fires destroyed 5,700 structures. 40 people died and 200 are reported missing. According to CAL FIRE, the wildfires are the deadliest in California history. Frightening footage taken by Mike Vane shows him and his roommate escaping the blaze in Loma Rica. Vane was able to open a gate that was blocking their path. Mandatory evacuation orders have been lifted in Napa and Calistoga counties. State Senator Mike McGuire says the damages may cost up to $3 billion.
Fires are a concern for many Californians. Valley View reporter Maybelline Capelou has the latest in home fire prevention.
A fire destroyed 2 homes in Highland Park last week. The houses were over 100 years old and labeled historic landmarks. Neighbors are now concerned about the safety of their homes.
The people next door to us don't take care of their house at all. It's really gross.
Because these houses are all so old and they can burn down so quickly. So if this house goes and that house goes, then it's really easy for this whole thing to burn my house down.
Firefighters responded to the call at 10 in the morning, but weren't able to save one of the houses. Firefighter Robert Perez says that home had a lot of clutter.
Plus, I noticed as I was coming up, we call it excessive storage, which means there's a bunch of books and magazines and just different random trash or whatever you want to call it everywhere.
Officials say the cause of fire is still under investigation. It spread from one home to the other. Pasadena Star News says over 3.5 million homes are at risk of wildfires in Southern California.
In my career of 30 years with the Los Angeles Fire Department, it's very seldom do I go to a home that is well maintained, well orderly, that has a fire.
The Los Angeles Fire Department says fires are preventable with good housekeeping. They recommend frequently checking fire alarms and smoke detectors. An important tip, get rid of clutter. In Los Angeles, I'm Maybelline Capelou for Valley View News.
Police found a marijuana operation while responding to a fire in Placentia last Sunday. Southern California Edison says a telephone pole caught fire. The blaze caused power outages throughout the 700 block of South Melrose Street near Orangethorpe Avenue. It was caused by a power surge from a nearby building. When authorities inspected the building, they found 3,600 marijuana plants. Police say the operation may be worth several $1 million. Investigators are looking for the building occupants. No arrests have been made.
Puerto Rico is in dire need of clean water. It's been 3 weeks since Hurricane Maria hit. More than 80% of the island is still without power. About 35% don't have safe drinking water. The EPA says the town of Dorado has a large hazardous waste site. 6 of the wells inside this site have reportedly been used as a water source for citizens. Many residents have been made aware of this, but they're still lining up for access to the water. Puerto Rico's governor says that some of the water has been tested and is safe.
Obviously, if it's non-drinking water, we're not going to be serving it. But if it complies with the Clean Water Act, then it is going to happen.
But not all the wells have been cleared for drinking. EPA officials spent last weekend gathering samples from the other wells for more testing. Gary Lipson, the EPA incident commander in Puerto Rico, says there's more focus on long-term issues.
We're not saying that somebody is at immediate danger by drinking this water. We are considering it a long-term risk.
EPA reports from as late as last year show dangerous levels of industrial chemicals were found in the ground. Some people who have been drinking the potentially contaminated water for the last 2 weeks have complained of stomach pains.
A Nevada-based online retailer is helping families affected by the mass shooting in Las Vegas. Retailer Zappos is assisting families with funeral expenses. Stephen Bautista, head of Zappos charity group, says they've helped 9 families so far. Zappos says they'll match all donations given to support victims and their families. As of now, they've raised $390,000.
2 bodies were found in the Joshua Tree National Park last Sunday. Hikers discovered the bodies around 11:30 in the morning. San Bernardino County Sheriffs received a call around 1:50 in the afternoon. They immediately arrived at the scene along with National Park Rangers.
A sense of relief that we have found them after going a long time on these hikes. I feel that we have closure. And we know we found them.
The bodies were found nearly 3 months after they went missing. A family member says the young couple were staying at an Airbnb. The property's owner reported them missing when they failed to check out in July. Authorities have no official confirmation if the bodies belong to the young couple that went missing. They were sent to the coroner's office for a positive identification.
The first year of community college in California is now free. Assembly Bill 19 was signed by Governor Jerry Brown last week. The California College Promise program grants eligible students a fee waiver. Students must apply for the fee waiver and have to be enrolled in at least 12 units per semester. About 19,000 students will be eligible. The program is expected to cost the state $31 million each year.
The Section 8 waiting list lottery has reopened for the first time in more than a decade. More than 600,000 applicants are expected to apply for the rental subsidy program. 20,000 applicants will be randomly selected for the placement. The program provides rental assistance to recipients by paying a portion of their rent. More than 56,000 households in the city of LA are currently enrolled.
LAX is adding bicycles and motorized carts for better responses for sick and injured guests. Medical carts will be driven in all 9 terminals, while medics on bikes will be working in heavy traffic. About 200,000 passengers visit the airport every day. The LAFD says rescue ambulances at the airport hasn't been cost nor time efficient.
Let's check in with reporter Malcolm Finney to find out the latest in social media, tech, and health. Malcolm, what's up for today?
Thank you, Shelby. Microsoft has created a cool new spot for their employees. Microsoft surveyed their employees and found that most would rather work outside. As a result, the company created tree houses for working and lounging. The tree houses come with meeting rooms, waterproof benches, rust-proof rocking chairs, a fireplace, and an outdoor Wi-Fi network. Pete Nelson built the tree houses. They'll supposedly last at least 20 years. The houses will also expand and grow as the trees grow. Google scientist Harmut Navan and his team have been working on a new supercomputer. The new computer uses quantum mechanics. Some expect it to transform industries. The quantum computer is expected to advance the artificial intelligence and chemistry fields. It might also speed up the learning capabilities of machines. Google will test the quantum computer next year. They'll give the quantum computer a specific problem that would normally take most computers and laptops billions of years to complete. If the test is successful, it'll bring in a new age of quantum supremacy. The recent numerous sexual assault allegations against movie tycoon Harvey Weinstein have sparked the Me Too hashtag on Twitter. Last Sunday, actress Alyssa Milano started the hashtag. She tweeted her followers asking if they had been sexually harassed or assaulted to tweet Me Too. Me Too became the top trending topic on Twitter globally. Milano said she was disgusted when she heard about all the allegations against Weinstein. So far, the hashtag has reached more than 500,000 tweets. Milano said if every person who had been sexually harassed or assaulted would tweet Me Too, then others would see the significance of the issue. She hopes the hashtag will help rape victims cope. Last week, Facebook announced that users will be able to order takeout and delivery using the Facebook app and website. Facebook will be partnering with some of the top existing food delivery services. It works like this. When you go to a certain restaurant's page, Facebook will give you the option to order food. The order food option will lead you to the Explore section, showing users all the local restaurants' pages. That page then gives you the options to like, follow, and share it. Facebook says it will be working with national food chains in the near future. That's all I have for today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Malcolm. After the break, a popular designer is finally ditching fur.
Also, the latest on the Harvey Weinstein scandal. We'll be right back.
come up with a family emergency plan.
What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
Me too. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back. Now to Star Harvey for entertainment.
Hi, Shelby. Thank you. Jennifer Lopez teamed up with Alex Rodriguez and Mark Anthony last week to host a live disaster relief concert called One Voice, Somos Live. It was to raise awareness and money for Puerto Ricans still suffering from Hurricane Maria. Bruno Mars, Ricky Martin, Chris Brown, and Demi Lovato also performed. Many other celebrities also appeared, including Kim Kardashian West, Ellen DeGeneres, Jamie Foxx, and Heidi Klum. They used telephones and social media to encourage contributions. Jennifer Lopez already gave $1 million to Puerto Rican relief. She also performed at the event. The star says all proceeds from the telethon and concert will be given to those assisting with relief efforts. High-end brand Gucci will go fur-free beginning with their 2018 spring collection. Gucci CEO Marco Bizzarri said the Fur-Free Alliance is part of their 10-year Culture of Purpose sustainability plan. Bizzarri said the plan has 3 focuses: the environment, humanity, and new models. The plan also includes a $1 million commitment to UNICEF's Girls Empowerment Initiative. Gucci is the latest high-end brand to go furless. They join Armani, Ralph Lauren, and Stella McCartney. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Board voted to strip Harvey Weinstein's membership. 2 weeks ago, Weinstein was hit with multiple sexual harassment charges. The Academy said Weinstein's removal is effective immediately. They said he doesn't merit the respect of his colleagues. They also want to send the message that sexually predatory behavior and harassment in their industry is over. The New York Times first reported on sexual harassment accusations against Weinstein 2 weeks ago. Since then, dozens of women have come forward to talk about their own experiences with him. Weinstein expressed some regrets for causing a lot of pain. Weinstein's representative denies that any non-consensual sex took place between him and the women. NBC is teaming up with Imagine TV to create a TV drama series based on the 2002 surfer girl movie Blue Crush. The show highlights female ambition and empowerment. It takes place on Hawaii's North Shore, which is threatened by the overdevelopment and surf politics. The Hollywood Reporter said it stars a young woman who suffered a surfing accident. She works to get back in the water while helping her community. The series is already in development. Hannah Schneider, writer of the TV show Rain, is writing and executive producing the series. That's it for entertainment. Back to you.
Thanks, Star. Senator Dianne Feinstein will face a challenger looking to take her U.S. Senate seat next year. California State Senator Kevin De Leon plans to run against his fellow Democrat. De Leon says he has a track record of pushing California policy in a more progressive direction. The 50-year-old politician highlighted his efforts in fighting climate change, immigration, women's rights, and other issues. Feinstein, who plans to seek a 5th term, has recently faced criticism for her support of some of President Trump's nominees and policies. Others note her lack of support for single-payer health care. In California, the 2 top candidates from any party advance to the general election. This means Feinstein and De Leon could face off twice next year.
Californians getting IDs and driver's licenses will have a 3rd gender option to choose from. People who don't identify as male or female will also have the opportunity to change their birth certificate. It will also give parents of transgender minors a way to change their kids' documents. Current state law requires people to get a sworn doctor's statement saying they had a gender-altering surgery if they want their documents changed. The legislation will now remove that requirement. Senate Bill 179 passed the California State Senate last month with more than 50% of the vote. Governor Jerry Brown signed the bill earlier this week. The new law will go into effect in 2019.
A brief was filed last Monday in a federal court by Massachusetts attorneys generals who say President Trump's proposed transgender military ban is unconstitutional. Valley View News reporter Alyssa Hoekstra has the story.
A group of state Democratic attorneys general went to court opposing the Trump administration's plan banning transgender people in the military. They say the ban is unconstitutional, hurts national defense, and harms the transgender community. Army Reserve soldier and CSUN student Jason Starcher says he's against the ban.
I personally have a transgender person in my unit. He is a very hard worker. He's a good worker. He did transition, though, before he joined the military. That is my feeling. If you are going to transition before, totally fine. If you're going to transition after, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you don't do it within the block that you are actually serving.
CSUN Pride Center Supervisor Jessie Ann Pope says the center is a safe place on campus where students can get support.
I think I want to make sure that we're thinking about folks who are impacted by that, even if it's not their personal identity. So it may be folks whose partners serve in the military, folks whose partners are trans, and who have trans family members who are in the military. So I think for us in the Pride Center, we want to be aware that that it's not just one type of person that's impacted.
Regardless of their stance, students who are affected by the ban or those who just want to talk have a large support network behind them. At California State University Northridge, outside the VRC, I'm Melissa Hoekstra for Valley View News.
President Donald Trump's administration will consider reforming the welfare system. The administration struggled to get any legislation through Congress.
People are taking advantage of the system, and then other people aren't receiving what they really need to live, and we think it's very unfair to them.
The administration failed to pass the health care reform, but is working without much progress to pass the tax reform.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson still won't say whether he called President Trump a moron. Tillerson told CNN Jake Tapper that he won't comment on gossip.
Jake, as I indicated earlier when I was asked about that, I'm not going to deal with that kind of petty stuff. I mean, this is a town that seems to relish gossip, rumor, innuendo, and they feed on it. They feed on one another in a very destructive way. I don't work that way, I don't deal that way, and I'm just not going to dignify the question.
He says that he and President Trump have a close and candid relationship. This comes in spite of reports that the two have been at odds in recent months. 2 weeks ago, NBC reported that Tillerson called Trump a moron after a tense meeting at the Pentagon in July. Tillerson says the report is part of a game that politicians are playing to divide the administration.
The president of Catalonia is continuing to call for talks with the Spanish government. Carles Puigdemont wrote a letter to Spain's Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy asking for 2 months of dialogue. In the letter, Puigdemont failed to clarify if Catalonia has officially declared independence from Spain. He says that even though Catalonia has earned the right to become an independent republic, he is suspending the process to pursue the talks. 90% of voters in the northwestern Spanish region voted in favor of the independence referendum earlier this month. In the letter, Puigdemont also asked the Prime Minister to stop the oppression of Catalans. CNN reports that Puigdemont's letter also states that countries in the EU agree his region's vote for independence was illegal. Rajoy says Spain's constitution allows him to dissolve the Catalan government and hold new elections if the region officially declares independence.
An AirAsia flight crew is accused of screaming as the plane rapidly plummeted. Panic began among the passengers when the plane quickly descended from 32,000 feet to 10,000. According to a passenger, the cabin crew were screaming, looked tearful, and shocked. This is not the first time AirAsia is accused of this kind of behavior. In June, a pilot told passengers to pray after the plane started shaking. AirAsia told CNN the plane's malfunction was caused by a technical issue. They did not comment on the behavior of the cabin crew.
Storm Ophelia left widespread damage in Ireland. The historic storm pounded the country with winds of more than 100 miles per hour. As of Monday, there were 3 reported deaths. During the storm, people were advised to stay indoors at all costs. Ophelia was one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the northeastern Atlantic. Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar labeled the crisis a national red alert. The storm caused a power outage throughout the Republic of Ireland, leaving many without power for several days. The last time a storm that powerful hit Ireland was in 1961 when Hurricane Debbie made landfall. That storm killed 11 people.
After the break, we find out how Kaepernick took legal action against the NFL.
And Daniel Martindale fills us in on the latest sports news. Be right back.
Got a quarter?
When you're running your own business and taking care of your disabled brother, you tend to learn about responsibility pretty quickly.
Colin Kaepernick filed a grievance against the NFL last Sunday. Kaepernick claims that team owners colluded to keep him from getting signed. According to Kaepernick's attorney Mark Garagos, this was the last attempt after pursuing every possible avenue with the NFL teams. The former 49ers quarterback made headlines after kneeling during the national anthem in protest of the treatment of African Americans. Kaepernick supporters stood in unison outside the Baltimore Ravens Stadium after the team decided not to sign him. The NFL Players Association says they are not representing Kaepernick but will support him in his efforts.
Well, October has certainly been an exciting time for sports teams in Los Angeles, hasn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, Amber, have you ever seen anything like it? We've had good weekends before, but everybody is winning. There must be something in the water in this city or something. Well, it turns out you can't beat LA. Last weekend, many tried and they all failed. If you were hoping to beat one of our teams, you didn't prevail. That's right, we experienced the rare perfect weekend across 4 different sports. First, let's check on the Dodgers, who are trying to protect home field advantage against the Chicago Cubs. Rich Hill taking the hill for the Dodgers against John Lester. This one scoreless throughout most of it. That is until the 5th when Addison Russell drives one down the left field line and gone. And for the second straight night, the Cubs jump out to an early lead with a homer, but that didn't last. With 2 outs in the bottom of the inning, Justin Turner drives in Charlie Culberson to tie it up. Then in the 9th, Turner's up again with 2 men on and a chance to win it and send him home. Justin, take it away.
And Turner in the air to center field. That ball's hit well. Martinez on the run. This is way back, and it is gone! It is a walk-off home run for Justin Turner!
Justin Turner with the walk-off 3-run blast, sending Dodger Stadium into a frenzy. JT could be bringing the World Series back. They're halfway there and have a 2-0 lead in the NLCS for the first time since 1985. It also came on the anniversary of Kirk Gibson's dramatic home run in 1988.
Since I've been a Dodger, one of my earliest baseball memories was being at my grandma's house and watching that game and watching, Gibby hit that homer. And I can't even put it into words right now. It's incredible.
That was the first walk-off home run for any team in these Major League playoffs. They'll have a chance to punch their ticket to the World Series this week in Chicago. Over to Staples now, and the Kings, who played rare back-to-back home games during the weekend. After defeating Buffalo on Saturday, they had to turn around in a New York minute and play again on Sunday. The New York Islanders were in town. New Kings backup goaltender Darcy Kemper getting his first start. Andrei Kopitar tries to center it to Dustin Brown, but it hits a defender's stick and goes in. Who cares? Kings up 1. Kopitar and Brown now tied for the team lead with 4 goals apiece. Then in the second, a mad scramble in front of the net, and the Islanders' Josh Bailey, not the mascot, pokes it in. But just a few minutes later, Kings on the power play when Jake Muzzin zips it by Yaroslav Halak. They had 4 goals of the man advantage in just a 24-hour span. But what would they do with a disadvantage? Kings killing a penalty of their own when Kopitar picks Johnny Boychuk's pocket, and we're off to the races. Kopitar finds teammate Drew Doughty. Great pass and an even better finish. Start spreading the news. The Kings beat teams from New York and New York over the weekend. Buffalo wings on Saturday, and then some Long Island iced tea to wash it all down on Sunday. It's a meal. And how about this start? At 4-0-1, the Kings are off to their best start in their entire 51-year franchise history. They're also the only team without a regulation loss and currently sit at the top of the entire NHL standings. Now to football, the Rams went on the road to Jacksonville looking to rebound from last week's loss. And if you weren't watching in just the first 25 seconds of the game, you missed 14 points being scored. Opening kickoff, Pharaoh Cooper. Off he goes, spinning by the Jaguars, running like a Jaguar. King Tut goes 103 yards all the way for the touchdown. It was the Rams' best start of the season until this happened. Jaguars' first play from scrimmage, little handoff to Leonard Fournette, and he's gone. Trying to one-up the Rams with a 75-yard touchdown run of his own. What is going on here? Rams and Jaguars look like they're out there playing Madden on rookie mode late in the first half with the Rams up 3, Jaguars in punt formation, and it's blocked by Corey Littleton and recovered by Malcolm Brown for the touchdown. Jaguars trying to battle back, but Blake Bortles, coming up here, is picked off by Nickel Roby-Coleman. He takes it about 50 yards, and that proves to be the turning point. Rams go on to tame the Jaguars 27-17. They improve to 4-2 overall. Rams are home next week, but the game will be as far away from home as possible. They'll host the Arizona Cardinals in London. Well, as the Matador basketball teams are preparing for the season, they got the opportunity to meet the fans at the Matador Madness event last Friday. Valley View News reporter Chris Escobar has more. Chris, take it away.
Students and fans came out to Matador Madness to show pride and support for their basketball teams. The event included a live DJ, free shirts, skills challenges, and a dunk contest. One player who once attended the event is now part of the event.
Been here last year. It was real intense. Fan base is really good. It's just a good thing for the team, so we can gain, publicity from our fans and let them know what we have this year.
With non-stop cheering and dancing, fans aren't the only ones excited for the season, as one coach looks forward to his players' performances.
I'm excited and fortunate to coach the young women that we have, be able to recruit the young women that we've recruited. They're outstanding young women who work extremely hard in a lot of areas.
As players get fans hyped for the season, they're focusing on one goal.
Big West title, that's the main goal. A Big West title, and every day we've been preparing for it. So I got to take one day at a time, and we can't forget the bigger picture.
As the Matadors meet their fans, both teams are getting ready for the season. The men's basketball team start off their season against Life Pacific on November 3rd, and women's against Masters University later this month. In the Matadome, I'm Chris Escobar, Valley View News.
Thanks a lot for that report, Chris. One more thing before I go. The Chargers beat the Raiders 17-16 on a last-second field goal on Sunday, and the Galaxy even won their last home game of the season against Minnesota. If you combine all of those results from the weekend, LA was a perfect 7-0. That's really nice. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Daniel. People convicted in crimes whose videos are intentionally taken and posted online can now face stronger punishments. The new California law, known as Jordan's Law, was signed by Governor Jerry Brown last week. It allows courts to consider videos of violent crimes as a factor when handing down sentences. The law is named after 14-year-old Jordan Peisner, who was attacked outside of a West Hills restaurant last year.
Astronomers around the world are using new data to try to gain a better understanding of our universe. This new data became available to researchers in August after they watched 2 neutron stars spiraling around one another. The 2 stars eventually collided. Because of this collision, astronomers were able to observe gravitational waves for the first time ever. This also resulted in heavy elements like gold and lead being created. The fireball caused by the crash sent those elements across the universe in a kilonova. The existence of gravitational waves was first detected 2 years ago when 2 black holes collided. Since black holes don't emit light, those waves were only heard.
Thanks for joining us today. From Valley View News, I'm Shelby Charlene.
And I'm Amber Partita. See you next time.